Yo, do you like horror? Do you like H.P. Lovecraft? Do you like Junji Ito or Ito Junji if you're from Japan? Or a prick? Do you like anime? Do you like manga? Do you like any cool nerd shit? Yeah. Well, do I have news for you? By the way, what are you? Kind of like a clone or some shit. Okay. So this video is about a little gem called World of Horror, which is ironically enough a horror roguelike game that was inspired by Lovecraft's literature and Junji Ito's manga, which is a beautiful fusion in my opinion. The game takes place in this seaside town called Shiokawa, which is real, which makes this 10 times creepier. And in the game, not the real one, it is a town filled with ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and some other crazy people, and also this fun guy. Nailed it. Basically, the rundown is this. The old gods, great old ones, whatever you want to call them, are awakening from their millennium-long slumber. And you, the player, have the choice of 8 brave weirdos to choose from, 3 of which are unlockable. But before I go into each and every character, know this. Just unlock Moriko. If you ever struggle in the game, if you ever just can't get through a run, just pick Moriko. She's basically Azazel from The Binding of Isaac. You choose them to have a nice chill run, but instead of a big ass motherfucking laser, she has a motherfucking shotgun, yo. Hashtag Olympia gang. Now, let's get into the characters. Just, since I said 3 of these characters are unlockable, spoilers. There's gonna be spoilers, okay? So, time to look at our amazing cast. First of all, we have Kyrie. She starts off with increased knowledge, decreased strength, and a random spell. She is the stereotypical transfer student. She's kind of boring. She's basically like the girl from Beyond Two Souls. She has like a ghost partner. There's not really too much to say about her. She's kind of like the white bread of this game. She's the first one you get. She's literally the first one you pick. Don't pick her. She's boring. Then we have Aiko. She starts off with increased dexterity, decreased knowledge, but really fast combat speed. She can just stab shit constantly. And her backstory is basically that, like, she's one of the kids from that one episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Tale of Dead Man's Float. And she's just sort of like pissed off about it and wants to find out if there's also haunted shit in the rest of the town. That's basically her story. The next dude is... Who the fuck is Haru? This dude is motherfucking... Just look at the costume. The back of me tie Easter egg. Majima is in the fucking game. Yo! I kid. Haru starts off with increased strength, decreased knowledge, and cigarettes, which increase reason, but also cause nicotine rush and also nicotine addiction. But his actual backstory is that he's a Yakuza driver that tried to rob the mansion in Shiokawa, but something probably fucking killed all his friends and is now chasing him, and he just saw him running away. Next off we have Mizuki, or in my opinion, the Twitch Thought. She starts off with increased charisma, reduced strength, and a random ally. I thought she might have like a cool sick backstory or something, but turns out she just wants to defeat an eldritch deity because she wants a few more people to join her OnlyFans account. There's not much to say about her besides she thirsty, I guess. Next off we have Koji, with increased perception, decreased dexterity, and also a sick fucking Polaroid camera. Yeah, this man is a no-nonsense reporter who is trying to unearth a government conspiracy. You can tell because he starts off with a camera. Time for a fucking weird one. Mimi, increased knowledge, decreased dexterity, but also starts off with a fucking scalpel, which scales off knowledge and not dexterity, which is kind of weird. And she also has reduced max reason. She is a strange fucking weirdo medical student who carries around a scalpel and sees this alien god's awakening as a way to put everything she's learned to practice. It's just stay away from me. You young blackjack looking motherfucker. You Dr. Stein looking freak. Stay away from me. Next. Okay. This one's going to confuse you. We have Miku. Increased strength, decreased perception, and her weird skill that scales off the amount of doom you have. The more doom you have, the higher her stats will increase, which is kind of weird, but okay. Miku. Not the Miku you're thinking of. She's an absolute arsehole who's an edgy rebel who tries to cave your fucking skull in. Granted, it's for her dying grandmother, but she is literally called Rioter when you first fight her, and you steal her grandmother's prescription for Flintstone gummies. Next off we have Moriko, the best. Increased perception, decreased dexterity, and, as I said earlier, a shotgun. She's just straight up kind of cool, because once you go through the RNG nightmare of unlocking her, she is dummy strong, which makes sense that you get rewarded for that bullshit. So her backstory is that basically she's a hillbilly who went against her father's wishes by trying to kill the rake, which was basically killing all the animals in the forest. And somehow, through this process of trying to kill the rake, she saves the world. Literally, it says unknowingly in her description. Unknowingly. She's just a badass, dude, straight up. The end of the world. She doesn't give a shit. She's just like the Lorax trying to protect the forest. She couldn't care less. Also, real quick, about all the playable characters. For some reason, despite the fact they're all in high school, they're all over 18. What? Is this fucking Yandere Simulator? Excuse me? Now that I've gone through who you'll actually be playing as, let's talk about what you're actually going to be doing in the game. So as I said, the goal is to stop one of 4 great old ones at the moment, which I'll be talking about much later on. But to stop them, you have to solve one randomly generated mystery, which have multiple different endings depending on how you solve them. So basically, if you care about spoilers, I'll say this now. Quit being a wee fanny. So let's get into it. The spine-chilling story of school scissors. The creator likes his alliteration, okay? Boys from your school are going missing, and the rumour is a woman is returned from her grave. The woman, the white smile, and the sharpest scissors. Very coochie sake owner, I know. But you don't know about the slipmouth woman? You fucking goober. So your friend leaves his notes with you, and he claimed he would send her back to where she belongs. He soon goes missing. So you study his notes, and they detail a ritual that may be able to stop this woman, whatever she may be. I mean, it couldn't hurt to try it, right? This is literally just the intro to the mystery itself. This is a block of text setting up the gameplay. The actual gameplay itself of this mystery consists of you exploring the school, looking for materials for this ritual, and also having random encounters that test your stats, as well as random battle encounters in a turn-based combat system. But don't worry about that shit right now. We'll talk about stats and the combat system later. So you continue with the mystery, and at one point you have the option to draw a symbol on a chalkboard. Now, if you checked your friend's diary, which was left in storage, like a big brain big boy, you would notice that there is also a symbol in the book. And if you were to copy the symbol from what's in the diary / notes onto the chalkboard, you can weaken the Scissor Sister, as she is a boss encounter. But if you do so, the XP you gain from this mystery is significantly decreased. And you also miss out on a possibly cool weapon. If you draw the symbol incorrectly, the boss has more health, does more damage, but it is a lot more rewarding upon beating it. If you can. That's basically it for the tutorial mystery, but it takes place in a cornered area of the map, just like the far out fable of the Fear Festival and the vicious verses of a violent vigil. But the mass majority of mysteries take place in the actual town of Chiokawa, where you will complete specific tasks to gain more info on the mystery, e.g. discard 2 items, or investigate the mansion for a set amount of times. But those aren't necessary to beat the mystery itself, as those are basically side objectives to increase the rewards you get upon completing the mystery, as well as changing the ending you get. So, as I said, most mysteries take place in the town of Shiokawa itself, which acts like a hub where you can choose where to investigate. You can make allies at school, What the fuck? Buy some weapons from this handsome little boy. Buy strange items from this
over here, stranger.
Visit an illegal arms dealer because of reasons. Go to the hardware store and see Tim Allen. Go to the school's library and unlock the known secrets of the universe, because that makes sense. As well as learn some weird fucking voodoo shit. Spend time not talking to the police. Like, seriously, fuck the police station. It's kinda like genuinely useless to me. Go to the forest so you can talk to the trees like a fucking weirdo, and they will for some reason give you gills, as well as the brand of sacrifice, which is always helpful. I would know. Go to the hospital, only for them to botch fixing your broken finger, causing you to implode and be filled with holes. Visit the best girl in the game, who is unfortunately dumb as fuck, as well as the only character in the game under 18. Oh no. And as of the newest update, go and visit the vending machines. Yay! Oh, and you can also like rest at home to recover stamina and reason at the cost of doom. But don't worry about what those mean right now. It's unimportant right now, okay? Well, I hear you cry. Josh, you beautiful British boy. What happens when I investigate an area? What actually happens during an investigation? Well, one of two things, as I said earlier. An encounter, which will test your stats, or an enemy encounter, which will start the epic turn-based combat system. Which is actually like pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But no. Right now, we're going to talk about the stats and how they make you special. Before I go into a specific stat, I'll say this. All weapons in the game scale to a specific stat, and all random encounters will test different stats. Okay, with that being said, let's get into Strength. The only time you should really buff the strength stat is when you're playing as either Kiryu-chan or Mega Bitch, because they start off with increased strength, so it would make sense to buff that stat first. If you're not playing as either of those two, don't buff strength, because strength weapons do decent damage, but their swing speed is too slow and are just beaten by Dex. Dex is just better. But if you do upgrade strength when not using either of those two characters, may I suggest a lobotomy. Weapons that scale with strength are baseball bats, axes, cleavers, shit like that. Chunky boy heavy weapons. Fucking hench shit, okay?
Perception!
Yo, so I heard you want a weapon for self-defense?
If I had to defend myself outside your apartment, I'm watching you through your window. It's 2 a.m. It's a self-defense situation.
All guns in the game scale off perception, as well as a knife and a torch for some reason. Perception is best upgraded when you're playing as either Koji or you're playing the game on easy mode, playing as Moriko, because she is in fact the best girl. Funds. So, funds. They're kind of important in this game, so what can you do with them? Well, first of all, you can support your local doggo economy. Great. You can also heal some ailments. Fuck. But they can also be sometimes used in random encounters for specific decisions. For example, you meeting an old friend and asking them out for coffee. But the reason funds are so important are none of the things I just mentioned. The most important thing about funds is that you never have zero. Why, I hear you ask? Wow, you ask a lot of questions. What happens if you have zero funds? Well, random person asking questions. Well, there is a chance, like a random chance, when you investigate an area, that you'll get a random encounter that you'll be met by this. Whenever you see him, you get 2 funds. That sounds kind of great, right? Wrong. At what cost? It costs you either 3 reason, 3 stamina, or increased doom. So here's a small tip. Keep a pound coin in one of the random holes in your face at all times, so he won't appear, because that motherfucker is rude and can end your runs like fucking nothing. P.S. to the creator of the game, make a weapon that scales on funds. Like, make it just like a stack of money. and like you hit people with it, and the more funds you have, the more damage it does. That's just a random thought. I thought that was a cool idea, even though it's stupid. Okay, on to the next stat.
Charisma.
Ooh, okay. If you want to create a small army of defenseless morons who will die for you, no questions asked. You really are an e-gal or boy, aren't you? Also, no weapons that I know of scale with charisma because this isn't a fucking anime, so you can't convince your weapon to die for you. But poor student A will be more than willing if you pick Mizuki. Just upgrade charisma a little bit and create your harem to defeat Lovecraftian beings by throwing your friends at it. Nice.
Wow. Intelligence is
Knowledge. Knowledge is an intriguing stat to me. As I said earlier, Kiria and Mimi start off with an above average knowledge stat. Mimi starts off with a scalpel, which scales with knowledge, which makes Mimi one of the strongest starter characters. But the knowledge stat on a whole is for the bigger brains of the universe. The Jimmy Neutron-esque humans knowledge scales with the scalpel, it scales with the ritual dagger, and also scales with the scissor lady scissors, which we mentioned earlier. Wow, this video's came full circle. The more you know. Top quality content. Dexterity. Straight up, dex builds are usually the strongest. If you aren't using a gun, weapons that scale with dex are usually your best option. Who knew my dexterity gained from playing the hours of the Megalovania intro would help me so much in life? Basically, dex weapons are stuff such as knives and most of the one-handed weapons in the game, except for some shit. But the most important thing that scales with dex is the weeb's ultimate weapon, the blade. But if you run dex stats and you get a katana, you win, as it should be. If you study the blade instead of getting laid, you should win the game. You should win life.
luck.
Luck is a weird fucking stat, as you can see. Or rather, can't see. Despite the fact it's called luck, you can't look at it. Luck is the Sasquatch/Mothman stat in this game, because you can't fucking see it. Because, I don't fucking know, maybe you never know how lucky you are or something. I don't fucking know. But is it important? Yes and no. You only ever see it when you get a luck skill check from a random encounter. But out of all the stats, don't upgrade it unless you are specifically achievement hunting and you need a high luck stat to do so. But if you're a mad lad who wants to get all the money out of the Lucky 38, be my guest. Now that was the stats of the game. Let's quickly talk about the epic turn-based battle system, which I have a small problem with, which I'll explain momentarily. So the combat system is basically like this. You have 200 action points or seconds or some unit of time, I don't know, and you can choose whether or not to guard, dodge, prepare attacks, attacking, throwing dog treats at eldritch horrors, sacrifice the rock to that creepy gal from school. You know, pretty standard stuff. And also, in any battle encounter, the player will always attack first. And in these encounters, different enemies will attack different resources. Some enemies may attack your physical HP, your stamina. Some may attack your mental HP, your reason. Or some might be mean and raise your doom, which will cause the death of all existence because you woke up Azathoth. Nice one, asshole. And real quick, just because I forgot to say earlier, random encounters also have a chance to decrease stamina, reason, and increase doom if you fuck them up. So, you know, get used to it. So, because you do damage before your opponent even has a chance to move, if you manage to get a good weapon and you have decent stats, you can fucking JV3 stuff your opponent before they even get a chance to fucking do anything. So here's my problem with the combat system. Some of the moves that you can do feel pretty underpowered to me. Things like dodge and brace, I never use them. I'm like motherfucking Kiryu-chan when he's in beast style. Ain't nobody stopping me from thwacking that cat ghost with a random stick I found on the ground. That's enough about the gameplay for now, so let's get into the gods of this game. At the moment, there's 4 of them, with more coming in the future. So, real quick, let's talk about them. God number 1. First of all, you've got the Duke's Dear Freya, or Kthak Atarasu. This fucker prevents you from tactically retreating when facing Mega Bitch. Also, this god's title is kinda boring, like, the spider god, that's it. Instead of something cool, like...
A thief! A criminal! He stole my suit! He's a menace to the entire city! I want that wall-crawling arachnid prosecuted! I want him strung up by his web! I want...
Kathak Atarasu. Now onto the next god. God number 2. The next god is my personal favourite, Itothu, the Devouring Fire. Now that is a motherfucking title. This god also may have caused the Library of Alexandria to collapse, so that's a thing. From appearance wise, it's basically the big rock from 2001: A Space Odyssey, if this rock was made up of something like Zuko's face. Gameplay wise, what this god does is the same as Beast Mode in Bloodborne. You do more damage, and you take more damage. Risk and reward. Baby, I fucking love it. In my opinion, this rock is my man. He is the funnest out of the 4 gods. But if I don't stop talking about this fucking sexy ass rock, I'm gonna turn it into a geologist real fucking quick. God number 3. The next god doesn't really impact my style of play too much, but despite that, he has the most intimidating design out of all of them. Straight out of Hellstar Remina, and I fucking love that shit. So this god is my main man, Ath Yolazast. Josh, you say, how in shitting hell did you pronounce that so flawlessly? Well, I say, firstly, how did you get in my room? Secondly, once you learn how to pronounce correctly, yeah, like that, you can pronounce anything. So what does this mad lad do? Well, every time you use a spell, it raises your doom instead of decreasing reason, which is what most spells do. Sick, right? Because I don't use a lot of the spells in this game. So it's free HP, baby. But some are so cool, I just can't stop myself. God number 4, and the final one out of this sick little quartet, Goizo. This motherfucker is basically like the mirror room from Silent Hill 3, where if you look at it, you get covered in tendrils and stuff and shit just hits the fan. That's Goizo. But the story behind Goizo is kind of interesting. Basically, one day Goizo was being a dick to Superman, and Superman wasn't having any of it, so Superman banished him to the Phantom Zone. And then he didn't really care for a while, he was just sort of chilling. But then he heard Pyramid Head was coming to Dead by Daylight, so he's like, oh shit, I'm about to head out, and he's going to use your face to get out of the Phantom Zone. Neat, huh? His impact on gameplay is that when you go to rest mid-mystery, it causes more doom than usual to increase. So I feel I've talked about the gameplay more than enough at this point. It's fun as fuck, but this game has more to it than the gameplay. Granted, I missed out a couple of little things, like leveling up and shit, but come on, you can figure that stuff out, right? It's leveling up. So, let's talk about one of the game's other major selling points, the art style. If you can't tell what inspired the art style, what the fuck, dude? I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Flashback. Game that was inspired by Lovecraft's literature and Junji Ito's manga. Junji Ito, baby. If you don't know who this man is, the hell are you doing here, bro? This is weeb shit. Jesus Christ. Well, for the uncultured, Junji Ito is a horror mangaka, or a Japanese comic horror maker man, who has made some absolute bangers over the years. Some of my personal favourites include that of The Enigma of Amigara Fault, Uzumaki, Gyo, and the aforementioned Hellstar Remina, among a lot of others. The man has done some shit, but I love his stuff, and so do a lot of people, to the point where he was even supposed to be part of designing stuff for PT/Silent Hills, but unfortunately, you know the end of the story of PT. Effing chat, boys. The game's artwork is all done in MS Paint, quite excellently, might I add, but it is also all done in Ito's style perfectly, and it adds to the charm of the game, as well as a bitter-sweet feel to it when you die, because the death artwork is pretty fucking sick. So you want to see more of this artwork, but you've got to take a fat L to see it. Speaking of Junji Ito, he is totally not in the game, and if you talk to totally not Junji Ito, I'll give you a little bit of advice. Don't look at what he's drawing, or something truly evil may find its way to you. Now, another thing, I really look for in my games. Scott Pilgrim, the movie, the game has it. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance has it. Devil May Cry 3 has it, and that is a banging OST. So this game's OST is all chiptune, which suits the game's old school pixelated aesthetic to a T, and also really reminds me of the old Splatterhouse game soundtracks. Granted, the OST isn't incredibly long, but it sounds fucking really well done. The soundtrack doesn't get too old or too stale, it's nice and catchy, and it suits the game's themes. It isn't Metal Gear Rising Revengeance level, but it's some tight shit. This little section of the video is dedicated purely to the creator of this game. Panstas. I can never pronounce your name, man. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. But listen here, you lovely man. Thank you. You made this game purely out of passion and hard work, and it really shows. The game's super fucking fun, and it's great. Thank you. And for those of you who don't know, which you probably don't because you clicked on this video, the creator of this game is a full-time dentist on top of creating this. And this game is done purely out of passion, and it really fucking shows. And as a result, thank you. In his spare time, he makes this sick as fuck shit. That's pretty fucking cool. Now, for why I'm pissed at you, dude. Bring back the portraits, man. The portrait requests. Just for like an hour or something. I'd love to be fucking pixelated, man. I'd give you 20 quid for that. Now, the next thing about this game, which is just as pimpin' as the rest of it, is the game's community. But you don't really care about the cosplays, the cool artwork, or anything like that, do you? No. You care about the mods. Yes, this game is moddable, and yes, the mods are amazing. Some of them more than others. What did you just hear? -3 reason. Just wait till I have to investigate the mansion and we fucking encounter Eric Andre and he just stalks me. But to install mods, you got to join the game's Discord and get the packs you want. And if you ask or look around, you'll find a pack with like a directory of the majority of them. So far, mods are pretty limited to being custom events, but that does not stop these talented fans from blowing my fucking mind. And also, there's a tutorial in the Discord on how to install mods in the game. And if you're still struggling, and you still don't get it, join my Discord. I'll help you. This is totally not a shameless plug. Join my Discord. Now, I think I've said as much as I can to try and convince you to buy the game. But if I still haven't convinced you, I think your intelligence stat might be a bit too low, or maybe you're just a sadist who enjoys the suffering of blind orphaned puppies burning in a forest fire, in my opinion. So, yep, that's the end of the video. If you managed to make it this far, thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you did skip to the end, why? Ouch, that's pretty mean. Ow, bro, goddamn. But yeah, time to go for the stereotypical YouTuber shtick. Follow me on Twitch. I stream every day at around 11 PM British time, like my 11 PM, pretty much. Yeah. Right now I should be either going through the Dead Space series or the Fear franchise. If I'm not going through either of them, it took me way too long to edit this thing. So yeah, that's great. Also, feel free to comment on what you think I should talk about next, because I have the next couple videos planned out, but after that, I'm gonna need ideas, bro. I mean, my next video is gonna be on a game called The Miskatonic. What? A visual novel? Okay. A Lovecraftian game? Oh, 3 Lovecraftian games in a row? I think I'm spotting a pattern here. So, yeah, if there's anything gaming, horror, Lovecraftian, comic, weeb, fighting game bullshit you want me to talk about, fucking let me know. I'm more than happy to. I don't give a shit. If you want me to talk about something dumb or nerdy, I'm your man. But with that being said, here's a video that I saw in the World of Horror Discord server that was really well done, and this dude managed to get a video up before me, but it's really fucking well done and really entertaining, so go watch that. Also, follow my boy on Twitch. He's my boy. Follow him. And sub on YouTube or whatever, I don't give a shit. So with that being said, Twitch, Discord, and all that shit will be in the description. Yeah, so that's that. That being said, doodles my doodles.